it worked out perfectly because like the pandemic happened like a few months after the second semester started, so nobody even went to school anyways. But like I just basically took that time, that like whatever it was, 6 months or whatever, that I had from graduating early, and I just like grinded super hard, and I was putting out videos like every like 3-4 days, and that really like took my channel like kind of to the next level. Like I think before that I was probably at like 7,000 subscribers or something, and I don't even know what it was at the end of it, but it really shot me up. So like, yeah, that was really beneficial for me, and also just felt like I had finally had the freedom to just kind of like work on what I've been wanting to work on, but like school is like this gigantic obstacle in the way. So yeah, I just kind of went hard at it, and like it was successful. My name is Felix, or Feezo, people like to call me, and I'm a producer and YouTuber. I've been doing YouTube for a long time, I think like almost 10 years now. I think my first video that I ever posted on my channel is still up. It's literally a stop motion animation of like Lego characters. My first ever stop motions I recorded on my 3DS.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a little program where you just like take a bunch of pictures and it just like makes them into stop motion, and it would be like, I would spend like an hour on this thing, and it would be like 160 frames, and it would be like 10 seconds long. But I did that a bunch. I have like quite a few of those on my channel. But I think it was those, and then the other videos that I did at first were me like recording myself playing Minecraft.
A video of the screen, or was it like you?
I would literally set my 3DS up and take a picture, or like take a video of my old tube TV, and it would have the thing like, you know when you take a video of like a TV screen and you just have that like black bar going up the whole thing? Those are like my first like videos pretty much.
Are those on YouTube?
I don't know about the Minecraft ones. I think I might have privated those. Well, I think once I was in middle school I was like embarrassed that I had Minecraft videos on my channel, but stop motion ones are definitely still up there. Like I feel like everything when I was a kid looked like so much better quality, and now you look at it and you're like, wow, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing PS2 and I was like, oh my god, these graphics are insane. And then I played it like a few years ago, and I was like, these are like stick figures. Yeah. There's a certain point where you get like more into like the technical aspect of it than just like the I just want to make something aspect. Like I feel like for me, I was like probably 14, 15 when I was like, I'm gonna buy a microphone and I want to get a better camera and like all this stuff. When it's like, you originally started because you're just like, I want to just make whatever, you know?
I feel like that's also when it kind of becomes less enjoyable, because now you actually care about the quality and like how it looks. But
right, I feel like that applies with so many things. It's like I just did a video recently where I was talking about how people like, everybody gets so wrapped up in like all the extra stuff, like, and they forget about the reason why you started doing something in the first place, which is so important, because like most of the time that's the reason why you keep doing it too, is like however you started. So like when you kind of lose sight of that, that's why people get like really I guess like distracted from their actual goal. There was actually one that got like a decent meaning like 1,000 views or something, but it got like a decent amount of views, and I was like, whoa, no way. And I think it was like 40 dislikes or something on it too, because it was just like awful quality. Yeah, that's when I was like, wow, like I have a huge audience. Meanwhile I had like 10 subscribers or something. Every time I hit like 10, 20, 30 subscribers, I would just make like a video like about it, like, we hit 30 subscribers, guys. And it was just like a montage of like weird clips that I put together.
When did you start producing then?
So I started producing like when I was like 14 or 15. So I was really into basketball, like all through middle school. I played basketball, and then in high school it's kind of like, if you do the summer camps, you have like a way better chance of making the team. So I never did any summer camps or anything. When I tried out in freshman year, I didn't make the team, so I was like, all right, well, I have to like find something else to do now.
I have to just quit.
Yeah, I just quit. Low-key, I kind of did just quit and like didn't like play basketball like organized after that. But I was like, I think that was around the same time that I started kind of listening to like rap music and stuff. Like I first heard like 10 Bands by Drake, and I was like, I love this beat. Like I want to know how to make beats like this. But it's funny because even ever since then, like ever since I started listening to like more rap music and stuff, it was always the beats. Like I was always like, oh my god, these beats are so cool. Like I want to make beats like this. It was never like, oh, I want to be a rapper, you know? But yeah, that was when I kind of started making music. I discovered like this free program called LMMS, Linux Multimedia Studio. It was just like a free beat making software, so I was like, hell yeah, like if I can do it for free, that's cool. Because all the programs costed money. Like FL Studio is like $200, Ableton is like, you know, fucking $1 million. Found that program. I found like a couple people that were making tutorials on it, and then I just like copied their tutorials exactly.
Do you remember like which producers really stuck out to you when you first started producing? Like who you really liked, or like who inspired you kind of?
So like the main person that was like a huge inspiration to me was Nick Mira. Well, obviously still is, but like for the longest time, I was like just a huge Nick Mira fanboy. I like wanted to make all my beats like that sounded like him, and like I would watch like all the tutorials and everything. So he was like the first big producer that I really was like a fan of, and like really inspired by. And then just also like all of the Internet Money people too. Taz Taylor is amazing. Like JR Hitmaker. Yeah, I think what they do is really cool, like the whole Internet Money thing, and that just like is really great for a lot of producers, because they'll just like upload tons of videos from all their different like producers that are signed to Internet Money, and just like tons of different content on this on their channel for people to follow and, you know, learn from. And I think that's how like a lot of other people learned as well, from people like Internet Money, Nick Mira, and them.
On your YouTube channel, you kind of post tutorials almost. So when did you feel confident enough to start doing that type of thing?
So it's funny because like a lot of people have this like mindset of like, all right, well, I'm not gonna like do a tutorial unless I'm like a master like, at what I do. I literally made a tutorial within like a month of first learning how to make a beat, and I don't know why that is. Like, I think I just felt like because I understood like the basics of it, I just wanted to share it with other people. So that was like the first tutorial that I ever did. I didn't even expect it to be like that becoming like my music thing, because I was doing like tons of different other stuff on my channel at the time. And then I was just like, oh, this is like something I'm interested in right now, like making beats, so let me just make a tutorial. And then I was like, whoa, this video has 600 views. And then I watched it like get slowly more and more and more and more. And I was like, whoa, like people actually care about this. And it was the worst beat ever. Like it was awful. It was like, I had just started making beats like a month or two ago. And I just decided to make that. So yeah, that's, honestly, I never really had like a barrier of like, I have to get confident before I like start making producer videos, because I was already just confident in like making YouTube videos in general.
Right. Did any part of you want to like gatekeep your skills and not share them with everybody?
I've never really had that. Like that's a really big thing. Like a lot of people are like that, but I've just never really had that like kind of feeling. Like even when I learn stuff that like probably should be gatekept, like stuff that like is like not everybody should know, you know what I mean? I'll still like share it with people, just because I think it's like just really important for me to like help other people learn. And I always think about when I was first starting out, like all the information that I would have liked to have access to, and like the way that I would like to have access to it, because kind of my like thing has always been, I like explaining things how I would like it to be explained to me. So like I'll just take something that I learn, or take like several videos that I learn from, and then just like condense it into like how I understand it, and then just share it with people like that. So like because I'm able to do that and like condense that, I think that kind of like makes my videos like easy to watch for a lot of people.
Do you still feel like you have a lot to learn?
Oh yeah, definitely. 100%. Like I think there's so much stuff like that people who, so like I feel like there's kind of two different, like, I wouldn't say two, but like there's different lanes of like producers. So like the one lane is people who just like make trap beats. And I always, like, I feel like I've been like shitting on like people who make trap beats a lot recently, but I've definitely been there. Like my first like, I don't know, like 4 years of making beats, like I never touched a single instrument, because I just like didn't really know how to play. And I didn't think, like a lot of people don't even think like, oh, I can record my own guitar, or like, oh, I can record my own bass or drums or whatever the hell. Once you get into that world of recording like your own instruments, there is so much more involved. Like right now I'm learning about like all the like rack gear, you know, in studios when you have like the like rack mounted stuff. There's so much involved with that, with like compressors and patch bays and limiters and like noise gates and all this stuff, that like hardware gear, outboard gear kind of stuff that I have literally no idea about, and I've been making beats for like 5-6 years.
What instruments do you play?
I play guitar well. I wouldn't even say well. I am able to play guitar. Bass, I can play a little bit. I'm not very good at drums. I know like one single drum pattern, so I'm not very good at drums. I can play a little keyboard, and also I feel like I'm the kind of person where like if you hand me an instrument, I'll probably be able to like get a little something out of it. I'll be able to get a little noise out of it, you know what I mean? So.
Did you have people in your high school that you were able to like work with or connect with?
Yeah, so at first no, but then like kind of later on, there was more people who did music and stuff like that. Like my one main like best friend, my friend Cyrusson, I started making music and then he started making music after me, and so we were able to kind of share like different things, like, oh dude, I got this new keyboard and like blah blah this and that. That was really cool to be able to like share what I was doing with somebody who like kind of understood what was going on, because you know you can share like music with like your mom or like your you know fucking grandparents or whatever, and they're like, oh wow, it's really nice, but they don't like they don't get it, you know what I mean?
Going on.
Yeah. So like for me it was really cool to be able to like kind of collaborate with him on stuff, and like the first song I ever produced was with him actually. Eventually later on in school, like I just found out about like other people that went to my school that also like rapped or did music or whatever, and started working with them, like Stucky obviously. There was a handful of people, like it wasn't like the whole school like was doing music and stuff, but there was like a few select people that I like to work with.
Do you want to talk about what high school was like for you? Because I know like we've like talked about it a little bit, but like if you want to say what it was like for you like as a creative. And
There's a lot. I have a lot to say about school. I'm not really a huge fan of the American public school system in the first place. Like I think it's really not set up in a very good way. But also I think it's really not good for people who like doing creative stuff and like want to do anything other than like going to college and being a lawyer and fucking all that stuff. So like, especially at our school, there was really not very many creative classes that you can take. Like I've seen people, like I've gotten comments where people are like, oh yeah, this really helped with my like music production class, and I'm like, where was my music production class? Yeah. Like, so there's a lot of stuff that I just didn't have access to really in school. So a lot of it was like me just making beats on my own, and like not really doing anything involved with school. And so naturally I kind of just like, I didn't really do as many like clubs and stuff as other people, because none of the clubs interested me. Like there was like ping pong club, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna try ping pong club. A lot of it was just like unrelated to school, and people will ask me like, oh, did you learn somewhere like how to make beats? And I'm like, no dude, I just like taught myself everything. I just didn't really like school, because it worked out perfectly because like the pandemic happened like a few months after the second semester started, so nobody even went to school anyways. But like I just basically took that time, that like whatever it was, 6 months or whatever, that I had from graduating early, and I just like grinded super hard, and I was putting out videos like every like 3-4 days, and that really like took my channel like kind of to the next level. Like I think before that I was probably at like 7,000 subscribers or something, and I don't even know what it was at the end of it, but it really shot me up. So like yeah, that was really beneficial for me, and also just felt like I had finally had the freedom to just kind of like work on what I've been wanting to work on, but like school is like this gigantic obstacle in the way. So yeah, I just kind of went hard at it, and like it was successful.
Do you feel like the consistency for your channel, or was it the like quality of the videos, or like how did you find a balance of doing that since you're posting so much?
Honestly, I just had like a absolutely ungodly work ethic. Like I would just literally stay up until like 5 a.m. like editing videos. So I was able to like put out quality videos consistently without sacrificing any quality really. Obviously there's stuff that I probably could have like spent more time on, but a lot of it, like with beat videos, compared to like a lot of the, and this is like no shade or anything, but like compared to a lot of the other people who do like producer videos, it's like 20 minutes of just their FL Studio screen and just them in the corner. No edits, no cuts or anything. Yeah. So it's like, because I always watched YouTubers that I like found entertaining and interesting growing up, I always wanted to do stuff like that. Like, you know, I wanted to be a YouTuber before. I didn't want to like ever be like a producer, like a YouTube producer or whatever. So I came from doing like the funny edits and like funny zoom-ins and stuff. So I just naturally incorporated that into my own stuff eventually. And I think that's what a lot of people liked, is that they could watch a video where they're learning something and also like get like
bored.
A little laugh out of it too, you know?
Do you find it hard to balance like music producing and then YouTube?
I found it really hard before actually, yeah. And it is tough, because I think this is actually why like a lot of YouTube producers don't really have a lot of placements or like songs out there, because YouTube is like, obviously, like it's a lot of work. Like it takes a shit ton of effort to do with like editing and filming and thumbnails and all this stuff. So it does definitely take away your focus from the production side of things, because there are people who do just production full time. They just like sit in the room 14 hours a day, just make beats and get like absolutely like crazy placements and make tons of money and stuff. But like I just have always had a passion for both, and the YouTube thing has kind of just always naturally kind of come first for me. That's been kind of just my main focus naturally. Like making beats for people has kind of been like, I guess, a side thing. I wouldn't really call it a side thing, but that's just kind of how it's gone. But yeah, I definitely struggled with that before. That was like a big thing I struggled with a while ago. But I was able to kind of find a balance of it eventually.
If one had to like take over the other and you can only do one forever, which one would you pick?
It depends on how I'm feeling. I think
how you're feeling right now.
How I'm feeling right now, I would say YouTube, like for sure YouTube, because I think I can live without like making beats for people, but like I think with YouTube I can kind of just make stuff for myself. Well, obviously they kind of go hand in hand because I make beats on my YouTube channel, but I think the YouTube part of it is just something that I've always been really passionate about, and if I could do that and make music at the same time, like that's a win-win.
Do you think you'll ever transition your videos? Like, will you become a vlogger or
I've thought about that.
24-hour challenge?
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff.
24 hours in Target, we almost died. Emotional. I have actually thought about it, just becoming kind of like a whatever, YouTuber, like a variety channel, I guess you could say, but not like transitioning the channel that I have now. I've thought about like just starting a whole new channel of just just a bunch of other just random videos, because of the fact that like I'm not just like a YouTube producer, because there's so many other things that I do as well. I can do so many other things, like when it comes to like art or graphic design or like even like animation kind of stuff or just whatever, like the production side, obviously the editing side, I can make entertaining like cinematographic, what's the word?
That works.
Cinematic, yeah. I can make like entertaining like cinematic videos and stuff like that. So like there's a lot of stuff that I can do by just being like YouTube producer guy. It's kind of like limiting, you know what I mean? So yeah, eventually I definitely want to branch out and at least have like some sort of second channel or something that I can do just whatever I feel like.
Why do you think you have to make a second channel? Like, why can't you do it on your page now?
I think if I was gonna do it on my page now, I would have to like slowly transition from like being somehow music related into like then eventually being like not music related at all. But I think just because I have like 150 videos straight of just like how to make a beat, this is like what I'm doing, like beat related, music related, so like just being like boom, then it's totally different. I don't know if like people would really respond well to it, because I feel like there's in my audience at least, there's kind of like two categories of people. It's like the people who care about like me and my personality and like who I am, and then the people who like just want to learn music. So like, because there's literally some people who are on my channel, they're like, yeah, I don't even make music at all, like I literally have never made a beat in my life, and I'm like, oh, okay, just watch, this is like entertaining. But then the other people who like have absolutely no idea like anything about me, and just want to learn how to make music. So that's what it would really like split the people in half, I think.
So I feel like YouTube videos that use clickbait and like trending topics get more views.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you struggle to like, you want to make like a good video, but you also don't want it to be like too...
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but like...
I know what you mean.
How do you like figure that out?
Honestly, kind of the way that you have to do it is like make just a really high quality video that like isn't clickbaity. The title and thumbnail just really have to capture people's attention. But not like clickbait, because clickbait is like sell somebody on something that just isn't there. So like you kind of just have to play up what is there, which is, it's really hard to get like a balance of that, because you obviously, as like a lot of creative people, like we don't want to be like, hey, this is our like YouTube thumbnail with like the face and the fucking thumbnail, but
all the emojis on the thumbnail.
Like 100 fire emojis and shit. Yeah, you just have to like kind of put that to the side and be like, all right, whatever. It's just the title and thumbnail. The actual video is still like the quality product that I've made,
Since you live like in the Chicago suburbs, does that affect what you do and who you can meet, or do you feel like what you do is kind of, it's just on your own, so do you feel like you could live anywhere and still be able to do it to its full potential?
A lot of people who like complain about like, I live in Idaho, so like I can't be successful, is like, it's just like a cop out. Because I think you can find success like no matter where you live or like what you do. There is a lot of other like creative people around, even the Chicago like suburbs, but also like Chicago is an insane city for like talented people. So like the fact that like I'm not that far away from the city is also super beneficial, because like you can go downtown and there's like several studios down there and several, you know, just other like places where people are gonna, like creative people are gonna be. When it comes down to it, literally the most important thing is like building relationships with people. You should always prioritize like relationships over like business shit, you know?
Right.
Because my friend Coleman, he literally lives in Nashville, and recently we just planned like a whole trip where we would meet at like an Airbnb, like in the middle between both of us, and just like make a bunch of music and stuff. And we were able to do that, and we live like however many miles away that is. So like if you build up a relationship with somebody and like you have like a good plan with other creative people, like it doesn't matter where you live, like you're gonna make it work, you know?
So do you want to stay in this area, or do you want to, you have like any dreams about moving anywhere else, or?
I'm like the type of person where like, all right, one side of my brain is like, I'm gonna move somewhere in Montana with mountains, get like 100 acres and just become a farmer. And then the other side of me is like, well, also it'd be cool to like live in a city and like, you know, connect with people and like network and stuff. So I'm kind of torn between both of those.
I feel that way too. Like I really like being in the city, but then sometimes you're like, this like sucks. Like the traffic,
it drains
people,
you
like
easily.
all the noise, and it's
God,
kind of
yeah.
nice to like, well, I guess for me right now, it's kind of nice being in the suburbs just because I can go to the city whenever I want, and then I can just come back here, and like this is like not like somewhere I want to be, but it's definitely calmer than the city. So
yeah, exactly. Like, I like just areas kind of like this where it's like really peaceful and you can just come and like enjoy like nature and stuff, whereas you don't really have that in the city. It's like, you know, you go to places like wherever like all the parks are and stuff, and it's like, wow, beautiful nature, and you look up, it's a massive like skyline of buildings, and it's like, okay.
And there's still like a bunch of people in the park, even though it's like
exactly. So you don't really get like peace and quiet anywhere.
What are your hobbies outside of like producing music and being a YouTuber?
I have a lot of hobbies depending on, you know, what time of the year you ask me. I kind of like, I'm the type of person where I'll like bounce around from like, I'll discover a new hobby and then I'm like, oh, this is sick for like a week, and then
obsessed for like a week, and then I'm bored of this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not already successful on it, so I'm just gonna quit.
Yeah, I'm definitely that type of person where like, oh my god, like I'm not like amazing at this, I'm just gonna stop doing it.
Me too.
Definitely there's certain things that I've kind of stuck with, like for sure, like just plants and gardening and stuff is just super interesting to me. Coding for a while, like I was trying to make a video game. That was something that I kind of learned quite a bit about. But also just in general, learning about like music gear, like different guitars and different like studio equipment and stuff is just really interesting to me. Also just like drawing like doodles. I don't like do anything crazy, but it's fun to just like, it's very important to have other stuff outside of like whatever the thing is that you do.
You need like a normal life outside of that.
Because there's definitely been other times before where people are like, oh, so what do you do? And then you just like talk about like the one thing that you do for like an hour, and it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of boring. You just make YouTube videos. Cool, we get it.
I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but what if one day producing doesn't work out and then your YouTube channel gets deleted and then YouTube.com is deleted? Like, okay, what would you do? Like, where, if you had to get a job, where are you working?
If I had to get a job? Okay, well, I'm gonna just say the basic answer that everyone would expect. Probably just work at a Guitar Center somewhere.
I was gonna say that you work there.
I think probably everybody who's like ever known me has been like, yeah, I could see you working at a Guitar Center. Yeah, definitely a Guitar Center. I would also maybe work at like a Menards or something.
Would you ever consider teaching?
Yeah, actually I totally forgot about that, so thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, because I had thought about that before, like being a teacher. Actually, I had thought about just being like in general, a teacher, but more recently more like a music teacher. But then also you realize that you go to college for like 4 years and you know like $100,000 in debt, and then you get paid like $20,000 a year because teachers don't get paid nearly as they don't get paid nearly enough as they should. because they literally like create everyone that has ever existed. It would be cool to maybe do like a lecture or something at like a college.
So what are your like future goals with just everything you're doing in general?
Like ideally like sign artists, and do like music videos and have like maybe like a recording studio and just like have like a big company where just like a lot of creative people like all come together and kind of just work on this like big brand. So that's like always been kind of like a little bit of a goal of mine. So like eventually some point down the road, something like that. I think just for now, honestly, like my main like short-term goal is like I just want to upload like way more frequently, because obviously like my life's been like pretty crazy lately, but like more recently I've gotten kind of settled into like a new place and stuff. I want to just like live stream a bunch, put out a bunch of videos, put out a bunch of music, just like be able to like connect with my community a little bit more, because it's been like a while since I've been able to like actually.
So what are some things that you like feel that you struggle with your career?
Definitely like time management has always been kind of a big thing. It's like you really have to like manage your time in a way where like you're not gonna like fall behind and procrastinate and like just get like all like a huge like mess about everything. Because like when you're doing multiple things, like when you're doing YouTube and then you're trying to make beats and then you're trying to like mix songs for people and then you're trying to do all this other stuff, like that's so important to like be able to say like, all right, I'm gonna do this for this many hours and then do this for this many hours. So like being able to manage your time well is something that I've been trying to learn recently better. And then also just dealing with like, because I haven't been able to like more recently, because I haven't been able to like upload as consistently as I had been before, just being like, all right, well like I'm uploading this video and it's like 8 of my last 10 or it's 9 of my last 10 and you're like, oh my god, like I spent this time on a video.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like you just move on to the next one, you know. You just learn from it and be like, all right, well this is what I did in this video that I'm gonna do differently to like see if it makes a change, and then just move on from there.
And when you said like managing your time with the stuff that you do, I also feel like that goes with even managing your time, like time for yourself or time with your family and time with your friends, and like having to mix that with doing all the stuff you're doing. It's like it can get really overwhelming to find a balance.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like sometimes for me it's like, all right, well like it's just so overwhelming because there's so many things you have to do, and then you just like do nothing instead. Definitely, that's a good point actually. Like with like managing your time also definitely includes like managing like time for yourself. Like, because more recently that's kind of been more what it is. Like I've been spending a lot of time like with my family and doing like just other stuff, like because we've been working on this house that we're moving into. That's been like a huge portion of my time is like working on the house and stuff.
What advice would you give to young kids who want to pursue the same career path that you're pursuing?
The main advice that I would give is just like focus on whatever makes you passionate and just put all your energy into that. Because like at the end of the day, like you don't want to like live your life and then be like, damn, I didn't do this thing. At the end of most people's lives, they don't regret things that they did, they regret things that they didn't do. Just go for it, and like if it doesn't work out, at least you enjoy doing it, you know? Being able to say like, at least I tried is better than 90% of people.
Better than not trying at all.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Zol, we have some music that probably by the time you're watching this is out, so go check it out. YouTube is youtube.com/Feezo. On Instagram, it's _Feezo. If you want to check out my Instagram, that's cool. On Spotify, Feezo, all that other stuff.